Heard the term local is lekker, but just how lekker is our tourism sector at the moment? Well, our reporters are taking an epic road trip or various road trips to parts of the country to look into holiday options during lockdown. Desan Tatia is in Port St. John's and Ngobile Madlala looks at the situation at the Vicksburg border post. Well, let's touch base firstly with Desan. He's on some kind of vessel. Desan, good morning to you. And where exactly are you and how exciting is it there?
Well, Yuveka, I think the picture you're seeing now speaks for itself. So I just want to give you a disclaimer as we start this crossing. We are on the Umzimvubu River, so there are times when I may drift away from the camera, but that doesn't matter because I'm sure you'd much rather be looking at this view than my face. This is one of the activities that we'll be getting up to while we're in this part of the world, in Port St. John's. We got here yesterday. We had that long road trip. It was a bit difficult getting in, mostly because we got lost. I blame the GPS for that. But we woke up this morning to this fabulous sight, this mountain, this river. It's absolute beauty. And I think it made up for all of the drama of last night of getting into the area. So right now, I know you're probably thinking, why am I being so lazy? I don't have an oar in my hand. It's only because I'm holding this mic. I'm not abusing Nolufefe Nozozo, who's in front of me. I swear I'm going to pick up an oar as soon as we're done. But let me bring her into the conversation, as Nolufefe likes to be referred to as Zozo quite fondly around here. Zozo, firstly, thank you for being so kind to row. Let's just talk a little bit about your activities, or your tourism activities here, especially during the time of COVID. Has it affected you at all?
Oh, hey everybody. I know we have to put the mask on, but maybe you won't hear me properly. The COVID-19 has affected us a lot. People have started cancelling their booking, and because the beaches are closed. So they're like, okay, we're not coming, we're not going to do the kayaking, and we're not going to do the activities. But regardless, Port St. John's have a lot more to offer, even though the beaches are closed. But we have beautiful, as you can see, the beautiful mountains, we have the river, we have a lot to offer in Port St. John's. So I encourage people to visit Port St. John's because we will give them memorable experience as we're giving you guys.
So your story is also an interesting one, because I only found out a little while ago that this business is yours. Just tell me a little bit about how you got here.
Firstly, I'm a tourism graduate. So after completing my diploma, I couldn't find a job. So instead of sitting at home and complaining and blaming government and all of that, I decided to open my own company, which is Pondo Adventures. I'm doing kayaking tours, walking tours to the village. So this is what I'm doing. I'm also working as a waitress, but I'm also doing this tour, this business. So this is my company.
So just before we continue our trip, what is your advice to travelers? You know, a lot of people may have been scared of, especially after the president's announcement the other day. But, you know, what he was really saying is that they need to be more cautious and they need to be safe, not that tourism needs to come to an end. So what is your message to those that were considering a trip down to the Eastern Cape?
I will say, guys, it's safe to travel. Just follow the COVID-19 rules and regulations. Put your mask on, sanitize, wash your hands, just travel. Because at the end of the end, we want to experience. We want to get out. We want to do adventurous. We want to get outdoors. We can't sit indoors forever. But just put your mask on and sanitize.
Thank you very much, Zozo. So, Yuveka, this is not the last we're going to see of the Umzimvubu River today, because after we're done with kayaking, I also have something else lined up, and that's a boat cruise that we're going to be taking probably in the next 2 hours or so. I mean, all of this is really hard work. You know, we're doing this for you, just so you know what the experience is like and how to be safe during the time of COVID.
Yeah, I can see how hard you're working, Des, and just lounging around there is very, very hard work. So just for clarity, for people who might now think, okay, Port St. John's looks pretty and we can go meet Des in there if we want to and get him to row for us. The beaches might be closed, but the river is open for business.
That's right. So, yes, you may not be able to visit the beaches, but as I said before, look at this view. You know, there's lots to do around the river. There's lots of activities still that you can get up to, again, in a safe way. Like if you look at even this kayak, you know, it's a little more work for those that work here. They had to sanitize the vessel itself. They had to sanitize the oars. You know, you have to fill in all of the paperwork, but it can be done. And I think that is the message we're trying to get across, that, you know, it is December. Enjoy yourself, but just do so safely.
All right. Well, I didn't want to panic you, Dason, but as we say goodbye to you, just watch out for that crocodile behind you. We did see it a few seconds ago. And enjoy the rest of your stay then. Try not to get lost or eaten. Okay, well, let's touch base now with Ngobile Madlala. And she's in a very pretty place as well, but I don't see any body of water behind you then, Ngobile. Where are you? What's to do where you are?
Well, UV, I'm basically behind Lesotho. So that's Lesotho on our left. We are literally just a couple of meters or just a kilometer away from Lesotho. As you can see there, that's our car that we've been driving around the Free States, that we have managed to explore the Free State with. And just there where you're looking is the taxis that people take to get into South Africa or into their working place. But this is basically the border post, UV. Quite interestingly, though, it's not as what we would have expected. The South Africa that we know will be buzzing at border posts at this time in December, but none of that is happening now. The gentleman we spoke to off camera, he said he wasn't keen to be on camera. He had his reasons. He said to us, this is new to them. He says this place here normally has people coming in and out, but it's not happening. It seems like at this point people don't have jobs. Now, we know a lot of people lost their jobs during this time of the lockdown and COVID. We know that it's been a rough time for almost everybody in this world. So a lot of people have lost their jobs. Very difficult to just go home, and others are already home. So we're seeing a much more quieter border post. We're seeing a lot of people just coming in and out, but basically people that are going into the rank and going to work, and it seems like people are going about with their lives. But just behind me also, UV, there is a body of water, but maybe not as fun as Dason's one. That one is the one that separates Lesotho to South Africa. Quite interestingly, also it has a route where you can go over to Lesotho. Now, I don't think that our immigration might be aware of that, because there's actually a nice route. In Zulu, we would have said ivutiwe, which basically means it has been used a lot. You can just see some people coming in here, right straight into the taxi rank. The border post, the border fence itself even has a hole that looks like a gate. Now, if you were somebody like me who doesn't know the routes, it's quite interesting to see an actual gate that has been opened on the fence for people to just come in to take taxis. But yes, later on we will get to have a little bit more fun, a little less of these somber news here at the border where we're seeing dry and drier areas. But we'll have a bit more fun as we go to the safari and we make our way towards where Dason is.
Well, I know that, you know, a lot of people might not be heading for Lesotho or coming or can't actually at this point, but, you know, the Free State might be somewhere that if you haven't explored, that you might think of it if you want to just get away from home, get away from Joburg, as many of us want to. So tell us about your travels, and I know that girls don't get lost, okay? You don't even need a GPS. You knew where you were going, unlike some other people. We won't mention those people, but tell us about your journey. What did you find? Any hidden gems? Anything interesting that maybe the rest of us, you know, might not know about?
Well, UV, I must say, I also blame the GPS like Dason. There's a lot of places we were struggling to find, but I think it's a GPS issue, just like Dason was saying. But a little earlier, which was yesterday, UV, we found some really nice places. I think one of the best places that we actually enjoyed was when we basically had that very nice, scrumptious burger that we bit into with my colleague here, Lenge, and it was really, really lovely. We met a family that was working together, and they had basically opened a restaurant which is on wheels, we call it. It's a restaurant where you have old cars which had turned into tables, and basically you can go dine in there. So if you're a petrol head like most of my colleagues that I'm working with, Justin and Dason, then it really feels a bit like a heaven in there. So we met a chef also who had traveled in and out of the country. He has such extensive knowledge knowledge in food, and now he works there, and it is the son to the family that we met there, and he has basically adopted that sort of travel experience into the local food. So very interesting cuisines there that he was coming out with. And also we got then to travel into the vineyards, where we went to the Rose Place, which was a bit further away from where we were. It was about 45 minutes to an hour's drive. When we got there, we met an old family, Trish and John, very amazing people. Now, on their end, the tourism side is actually a bit slow. They were saying that with the rain and also with all the issues they had been facing and lockdown, they were affected. But people still come through for wine tasting, and people still come through to stay in that area. It seems in their area, in the Eastern Free State, that's in that farm there, they were saying that there are places where you can go hiking, places where you can go bird watching, and it's really, 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 really just cheap. Just like when we were at the roadside diner, also the food there, very cheap, not expensive at all. So Free State might be the province that you don't look at, because obviously, unlike what you have in Durban, there's lots of water there. In Cape Town, here it's a bit drier, so you got to actually look into what is it that you really are interested into. But if you're more of an exercising type of person, you're more interested into finding the hidden gems like what we have done, then there's lots really to offer. It's more of a farming area, so you got to go into the farms and figure out what is it that they do for fun. And that's where we found even Vusi, who is one of the guys there who works in the vineyards, and he was telling us how to see if a grape is good to create, that can work for wine, to have that beautiful drink that you will have with your supper. So we learned a little bit about that. So if you are adventurous in that sense and wants to know and accumulate knowledge, definitely a place to be in Free State.
All right, well, the wine and burger tasting makes sense now because Linge was with you. I suppose he's going to lead you down those paths. Thanks, Nobile Matlala. She'll continue with that road trip, and let's see who finds us the better gems in the country. Well, when we continue here.